Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to talk about industry versus academic research methodological guide. What I'm going to cover here is to explain you the differences between academic research and industry research and how some of the key factors affect the methodological choices. So some things that you need to understand from if you're an academic, this is very much important because we as academics are trained to think in a specific way when conducting academic research. But when we undertake industry based research, the requirements, the expectations are different. And hence, we need to tweak or tailor our methodologies to reach the or to achieve the outcomes our industry partner is expecting. So today I'm going to talk about 6 different factors that you need to consider in this first session, and in the next session I'm going to talk about another 6. So in total 12 different content, 12 different factors I will be covering that you should keep in mind when you are doing industry based research, because you need to think from a industry partner's perspective, which is a little bit challenging for if you're doing industry based research for the first time. Okay. So over the last few days or the last week, I would say, I've been doing several videos on various aspects of industry-based research. So if you have not checked out the other videos, I strongly recommend you to check them, because it will give you the strong foundation that you need if you want to conduct industry-based research. So for example, this video was on how to find industry research problems. Next one was what is industry focused research. So that was a basic talking about what is this research all about. Then I spoke about why is industry research relevant. So another very different angle to the same topic. How to approach industry partners. This was becoming very popular video. So do check this out as well, because everything would start from this. You have to first approach and find an industry partner with whom you can work. So having that is very important. So do check this out. And all my videos are there on my YouTube channel. They're also on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. So whichever is your social media platform, please take time to follow me, join me, subscribe me, and watch all my upcoming videos. In the month of March, I'm doing daily webinars on various topics. And if you have any suggestions of what you want me to speak, do let me know in the comments. All right, let's get started for today's session. Today, I'm going to talk about 6 things, like I mentioned, 6 factors that you need to consider when doing industry-based research and how it will have some methodological implications. So let's talk about the first aspect, which is objective and application. So industry-based research aims at solving specific practical problems to enhance business outcomes or business performance operations. It could be innovating new products or improving existing service efficiencies. So you can see the aim is very clear, very crisp, and it has a financial or a commercial angle to it. Emphasis is on actionable insights that can lead to competitive advantages or operational efficiencies. So when you're thinking of industry-based research, you have to keep in mind that everything is related to business performance. The reason why an industry is engaging you to undertake a specific piece of research is because they want to be better at doing their business. And in the end, they want to generate more profit and more returns for their shareholders. So the expectations for industry-based research are quite different from the industry partners or your clients. So you have to be very you have to understand this, and you have to be very careful in managing this relationship with your industry partner, because the priority here is getting research done in time, within budget, and on a specific aspect that they want to solve. So there is not too much flexibility as we have in traditional academic research. In comparison, if you think about academic research, it is more exploratory or foundational in nature, right? We are trying to make contribution to the body of knowledge. So in this case, we have the option to explore the way we feel, to research that area in our own, with our own passion, with our own boundaries, so to say. But in industry, we have to work on a boundary that has been set, the scope that has been set by the industry partner, right? So here in academic research, we do not have a immediate commercial application in mind, although that may be something towards the end if you're pursuing PhD, for example. But otherwise, the priority is to select a research problem that interests us or that has future implications, and you start researching it thoroughly and in depth. The outcomes of academic research, as you all know, are new insights, theories, new models, new frameworks, and so on. Right. So this has it helps us in advance the understanding of a specific phenomena or a condition or a situation, rather than having right away practical application. So that is different, and hence, because of these aims and these objectives that drive the research, the methodological compromises that you may need to do is has to be given a deep thought. Second is time frame and urgency. So, for an industry-based research, it typically operates under very tight timelines. I think in some of my earlier videos, I have also mentioned that industry wants a specific problem to be solved in a specific short span of time, right? They can't wait for your 3 years if you're doing your PhD to solve the problem and give you the results. But they want something small, short, so that they can apply that directly within their business and in running their and increasing their market power or getting a strong competitive advantage. And they need this to be for quick decision making. So if they come up to you asking for a specific solution, their expectation is that, oh, this could be done in 6 months, because what the kind of speed with which industry operates is very much different than how it happens in academia, right? So for industry, 3 months or 6 months is a long period of time, whereas in academia, it is not considered to be that long. We consider a research project of 3 to 4 years is acceptable, is reasonable, but that is not the case with industry. Results are often expected to be delivered promptly to capitalize on market opportunities. So this is very important, right? See, one of the reasons could be the industry is coming to you, approaching you because they have noticed a small market gap, which has probably a large commercial potential. So they want to be there first, yeah, and that gap may not last for a long period of time, yeah. So their intention is they want to be there first with their technology, with their product, with their service, whatever that might be, and they need your support to get there faster. I mean, they can get there themselves on most occasions, but the reason why they're approaching you is they believe that you can help them get there faster than if they could do it themselves. So it is very important that this thing is very clear in your mind. The expectations when dealing with industry are much different, and you have to be very clear about those things. Whereas in case of academia, you can see we have more flexibility, right, in terms of timelines and allowing for a deeper and more thorough investigations. So in academia, the focus or the priority is given on methodological rigor, right? We want to prove that this is the right methodology, this is applied in the best possible way. The rigor associated with this research is the best. Yeah, that is what academics aim for. Whereas in industry, the thing is a little bit different, right? What they want is they are okay to compromise a little bit on the methodological rigorness, but what they want is they want to have a solution as fast as possible. Yeah, because they are looking more from a business and commercial perspective, that if they can get there faster and quicker, even if with a little bit less rigorous approach, but they can be there first, they are happy with that. So this is a very different way to think about how industry considers research, whereas how academics considers research. So your job as an academic working on an industry project or industry research is to find that right balance so that it is not completely flawed in terms of methodology, and it is not extremely rigorous as in an academic research project. Academic research projects, especially those leading to, say, publications or thesis or dissertation, can span several months or years, but that is not the case in industry. For example, I was engaged in the past to work for a startup, and what they wanted me to do was to develop a white paper. Yeah, it is like a research paper. It has some background research that research that is reported, what other products are there in the market, how long these products have been there, what are some of the weaknesses of these products, and so on and so forth. So, and then develop a recommendation or develop or connect their product with these weaknesses. So that was the idea. That was the project that I was given, that analyze the existing products and market and develop a white paper so that they can pitch their product to the investors. They don't have much time in this case, right? So you can't expect them to spend like 6 months doing a lit review and then writing the research paper. It will take probably a year for doing a good systematic literature review, for that matter. But here the time frame is less. So what you need to do is either get more resources to thoroughly undertake that research, or you have to put some things outside the scope, and you have to acknowledge that in your research report that you are writing, saying that we only studied last 3 years of products that were launched in the market, or we only evaluated products available in the Australian market or any other country. So you reduce the scope but maintain the methodological rigor. Next thing is methodological flexibility. While industry-based research is still rigorous, but they may prioritize speed and pragmatism over exhaustive methodological thoroughness or rigor, right? So if you again see, speed and pragmatism are the two important words that I have highlighted here. And the reason is, in industry-based research, the timelines are very tight, so speed is very important and the practical application is equally important. So you have to have some leeway in terms of your method, in terms of your methodological approach, right? So something that is completely acceptable in academic research may not even stand a chance in industry-based research. So you have to have that flexibility to change your method or methodological approach as you are pursuing your industry-based research. For example, what you could do is you could use existing methodologies in new ways, or adopt innovative or unconventional methods, or simplify research designs to meet time and resource constraints, right? See, so here we are probably not developing a new methodology, but we are using a time-tested method that has been proven to work, and then we are applying it in a new problem. We are applying it to solve a new problem that the industry is facing, right? Or we could adopt innovative or unconventional methods. So something that may be not considered acceptable in academia may be completely acceptable in the industry setting. Yeah, so these are the different things that you need to consider and have that flexibility when deciding or finalizing your methodology when doing industry-based research, given the time and budgetary constraints. But when you look at academic research, we tend to emphasize on methodological rigor a lot, right? And it's not wrong with it, because that is required, because in the future, this method that we develop will be used by industry, right? At the moment, they may use something that has been published, say, 3 or 4 years before, because that research that was done in the past is useful for them now. And that methodological rigor that was put in by academics when doing that research earlier is useful now. But when solving a problem now for the industry, they may have the time and budget constraints. So you may have to come up with creative ideas of tweaking your methodology to still get really good and thorough research. Academic research involves comprehensive literature reviews, meticulous data collection, and detailed analysis, along with ethics approval and so on and so forth. So, this may or may not happen when you're doing industry based research. But if you are doing an industry based research funded through or under the university umbrella, you have to make sure that you have ethics approval in place, right? I mean, you do not see companies or market research agencies doing ethics approval when they do market research. That doesn't happen. But as an academic, as a university, we are obliged to follow the right rules, right policies, and be ethical when we are conducting our research. So that is a definite no, you cannot bargain or compromise on not doing ethics. Our next point is stakeholder engagement. In industry-based research, we have a very close collaboration with business stakeholders who may have specific expectations and requirements for the research outcomes. Yeah. So when industry approaches you, they have something in their mind. They want to achieve something, they want to do something, or they have a specific problem that they want you to solve. And while doing that, they want to be in regular contact with you. So you have to be very open in communication with your industry partner and understand that they would like to be involved in it as much as you, because they have a direct business benefit by engaging on this problem that they want to solve and provide their inputs, their perspectives, their experience in solving this. Many times what I have seen in my experience is companies already know how to do it. They come to you with that idea and they just want you to do it. So that is also another way that you will find that companies want or are comfortable doing research for them. Industry-based research needs to be translated to relevant, actionable insights for non-academic audience. So see, this is also important. If you are required to come up with a research report, that has to be non-academic. I mean, it should not have lot of jargon inside, or it should not be too technical. It should be something that business leaders or like CEOs, CFOs, they can read and understand. A lot of things when I talk to business leaders is they say that research papers are just too academic. I mean, they are not to the point. They would say that this whole thing, if you can compress and tell me in like one pager, I can probably understand. But I don't have time to read, say, 20 pages of a journal paper to solve the problem that I'm facing. I'm pressed for my time. My time is more important. So I need research that is easily understandable, easily available, understandable, and easily applicable. So if you want your research to be practical and more used and have a good, strong impact, you have to consider that making like a one pager of your research paper so that it is aimed at industry experts or industry leaders or business leaders. On the other hand, if we see, academic research involves collaboration between peers and mentors, right? There is not too much engagement with industry unless it is an industry-based research. So the primary audience of a academic research output is other scholars in the field. And then that small sphere or the small group is where your research will remain for the rest of the period. And that is what often happens. Even if you write a thesis for your PhD, that thesis, if it is not written in a simpler format that is understood by anyone, then it is of a limited use. You can imagine only other academics would read your thesis, but a large proportion of audience who may benefit from your work will not read it because it is just not in that format that they are used to, or it is just too big. I mean, who has the time to frankly read like a 300-page thesis, right? The whole thing, ideally what I like is the structured abstract that is written for a thesis. I think even if you expand that a little bit, that 300-page document could be made it shorter, even in a 5-page, 10-page document. Because what ideally do we want, to convey? This was the problem. This is this is the methodology that we use. This is the method that we use to solve this. This is what we developed to solve the problem. And these are our results. And these results will benefit this and this people. That is a thesis, right? But the traditionally academic theses have been large, like 100, 200, 300 pages. And that tradition is continuously going even till now. But imagine a small, crisp thesis, just a few pages. Because what you want to convey, if it is conveyed in that less number of words or less number of pages, that is even better, right? Because who can spend time reading the whole thesis? Rather, they would prefer reading a snapshot or a core crux of your thesis in an easier way. In academic research, the findings are communicated in academic terms. So there is a lot of focus on theoretical implications or contributions to scholarly debates, but no practical or commercial application right away. Next, let's talk about funding and resources. In industry-focused research, funding is sourced from either within the company or through commercial partnerships. And this can have some influence on how research is aligned, because research may be more aligned to business priorities, and there will be some form of compromise or trade-off on where they want to focus more. So they may consider that for us, the priority is extensive data collection, because we want to understand the market, all the different types of potential customer demographic. We want to know more about that. Maybe the analysis that you do, you don't have to go too thorough. You just help us answer these 5 questions. But to answer these 5 questions, we need the data to be very strong. So focus more effort on data collection rather than data analysis. So these kind of requests you will get from industry when you're working on industry-funded research, because the priorities there are quite different. Resources might be more readily available, and this is one very important thing. If you think about academic research, we struggle a lot to find useful, relevant information or data for our research. We struggle. I mean, we need to plan on how we are going to do data collection. But imagine in case of industry, they may already have the data. It may be the data about their customers. It may be the data about the market. So that all that data is there with the industry partner. You just have to, you kind of get all the information that you need, all the data that you need, but you have to, and you can work on that. So access to data or resources will be much easier compared to academic research. But on the other hand, they are expecting tangible research return on investment. So they are providing you the data, assuming that you will be able to deliver on your promise. In case of academic research, like I said, funding comes from educational institutions, government grants, or other non-commercial sources. So in such situations, access to real commercial data will not be possible or may not be available, or the company may not be willing to share such kind of data. So a lot of academics, what we try to do is we try to synthesize data that is close to the real world data, but it still is not real data. So those are the pros and cons, if you can consider. The research agenda is more likely to be driven by academic interests and the pursuit of knowledge, with less pressure for immediate commercial returns. So I think I have covered this already. The 6th point that I want to cover today is publication and confidentiality. So in industry-based research, findings might be proprietary, and which may lead to you being restricted from publishing your research, because that research that you do, the findings that you get, the companies would want to use them, exploit them, so that they get a better market position, a bigger market share, and so on. So it is important to understand that you may get access to data, You may apply all different algorithms or techniques or tools to get insights from that, solve a problem, but you may not be able to publish it. So there is a compromise there for academics. The emphasis is on maintaining competitive advantage, which can limit the dissemination of results. So I mentioned that already. Whereas if you compare with academic research, here the focus is on publication and open research. Yeah, open sharing of research findings through peer-reviewed journals, conferences, and academic networks. So here the focus for academics is to show that you have conducted a research, you have gathered this data, you have published these findings, you have gathered the interesting findings, and so on. But in case of industry, the focus is on doing all this, but not disclosing the final results, rather using those results within the business to improve the business capabilities. In academia, the culture of academia values transparency and advancement of collective knowledge. So the information, the knowledge that is created or generated through academic research is shared to the global community in an aim to improve the collective knowledge of around the world. Okay, so that was part 1 of this session, which was on methodological guide. So in the next session, I will cover 6 more points about how academic and industry-based research is different and what you should consider, what factors you should keep in mind when conducting academic research. All right, thank you very much and have a good day. Bye.